Yeah. I'm live. I'm live. Make sure I got this camera right. Hey guys, I washed my hair and man, that's a job trying to untangle it and put all in it and stuff. Now my shoulders hurting. But anyway, I didn't get on here to complain about that. Um, I over the holidays, Mother's Day, I ran into a person I hadn't seen in 15 years, and they're glad to see me. I was glad to see them. And God, they look so old, but I didn't even recognize them. But they recognized me. But the last time we talked, long time ago, but you know, I told you guys I was a member of the Holiness. Hey, Queen. Hey there. Member of the Holiness Church. I said I was going to try to, Queen, I'm going to try to do better. Not try, I'm going to do better because I got to tell this story about why I'm the way I am, and I still don't know. But the title is I'm Still in Love with God. I still love God. And with this person back in the day, when I was younger, in my 20s and maybe early 30s, when you're a member of the Holiness Church, when you leave the church, you're considered a backslider. And the church members, they do shun you. And I was given this label, and because they gave me this title as a seer or prophet and all of that, and I left the church, well, God had turned me over to a reprobate mind. I didn't even know what that was, but if y'all say that's what I am, then that's what I am. So I lost a few friends. The church wasn't that big, but I did lose friends, and it hurt. When you see somebody you hadn't seen in a while, and they turn a cold shoulder. But the lady that I ran into again, I could see that kind of look on her face, like God should have really whooped your ass for what you did, but you look better than I do. And I didn't rub it in because I'm not that type of person, but I could just read her mind through her body language. And I was thinking about that, how people I think they're actually confused as to why God didn't get you. For how you gonna break the rules and get away from the church and God still let you live and bless you? How is this gonna be? So I could see that, and a lot of ex-church members, I saw that on their face. And even when I went through my drug rehab thing, a lot of them were glad. That's what she get. That's what she get for turning her back on God. And I'm gonna take my time and at least once a week, and I might do it every other day, explain for those of you who give a damn, but this is really for myself, as to what happened with my walk in the church. It is not, it doesn't have anything to do with my walk with God, my walk in the church. So, but anyway, she, it was just a cold shoulder anyway, but I was happy to see her. And I thought about it when I got home after Mother's Day dinner. I thought about it and I said, well, I was a type, when I was a kid, I've always asked questions. That's just why? That was my middle name. Should have been Mary Y. Sims. Because I had to be, I think I was 2 years old. Yeah, because Papa, I might have been younger than that, but my grandmother lived in the projects, and she died in 1957. And I was born in 54. But grandma was doing well, and Papa was, sitting on the porch. But Papa used to sit on the porch, and I'd sit right next to him. and Papa would spit. And I didn't know he was spitting tobacco, but I would watch his spit, and his spit would be brown. And my grandmother would say, Mr. Dave, and that's how they talk to each other, Mr. Dave and Miss Pearl. She'd say, Mr. Dave, don't be spitting that stuff on my flowers. And we say, oh, Miss Pearl, it ain't gonna hurt nobody. It ain't gonna hurt him. And he would spit, and his spit would be brown. Here I am, not even 3 years old. But I would spit, 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 and I could not make my spit turn brown. So one day, we had to be living with my grandmother at that time. My oldest brother, he told me about that situation. So a few days after that, Papa had this big knot on his eye. And there I am, I'm wearing him a death. Papa, what happened to your eye? What's wrong with your eye, Papa? And he kept saying, he didn't they didn't call you by your name. I don't think he even knew my name. It was always Gal, and the boy was always boy. So he said, Gal, I got a star on my eye. And I said, a star? How you get a star in your eye, Papa? Don't worry about it, Gal. And I asked him the same question all day long. Papa, what's wrong with your eye? So he kind of huffed and puffed, and he finally said, Gal, I fell in the toilet and I got flushed down the toilet. Because I can swim, I swam out the toilet and I didn't die. That's how I got that star on my eye. I go, what? Papa. So I couldn't wait to run tell my sister. She's 18 months older than I am. So I say, ran to my sister. I said, Kathy, Papa fell in the toilet. That's how he got that thing on his eye. My sister say, what thing? I said, that bump on his eye. She hadn't even noticed it. So I said, Papa said he fell in the toilet. That's how he got the thing on his eye, but he could swim. I said, we can't do that. I don't want to fall in the toilet. So every time I had to go to the bathroom, she'd have to hold my hand and I'd have to hold her. So I actually believe that's how that Papa fell in the toilet. But that's the kind of child I was. I asked so many stupid questions, and I think that's the way religion got started. Some child or younger person, or just a curious person, let's say a curious person, had questions and they went to the older people and they didn't know the answer. But why does it get dark at night? And why does it get light in the daytime? And who is that? Why is it wet outside? Just a bunch of questions. So people got tired of answers, so they just told you anything to make you stop asking so many questions. So that's what I was. I would question, question, question. But as I got older, my inquisitiveness made me feel more intuitiveness. I felt more, and I was sensitive to hearing, and I started hearing this voice, which was actually my voice talking to me, and like, hey, how are you? And listen to this. And I said, oh, who is that? Who is that? But I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell nobody in my family. But this voice would always tell me what was going to tell me the future. So I studied that for a while, and I said, this is my little secret because this voice, and it was a woman's voice. In fact, it was my voice. I ain't had sense enough to know how it sounded till we got in early 70s and we got a tape recorder and I heard how I sound. And I said, oh, that's the voice I've been hearing all my life. So it's me talking to me when I'm a kid. But I actually heard that voice. But then, as you know, your parent, my mother was trying to get me and my sister saved, and because she wanted us to be good Christian girls, and we coming into our puberty. At least I was. I started when I was 9. I was an early psych. I started early. But she didn't know how to tell us about the facts of life. She didn't. She goes and get this M encyclopedia and turn it to M, and she says, "Read this. That's under M, and it says menstruation. Read that." So I read it first. I thought it was she was talking about a minister, a preacher. What he gonna do? And I didn't know what that. I was just pretending that I read. I passed the encyclopedia to my sister. She read it, and my mother said, "Now, do you understand that?" Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But that's the only thing I was given when it came to facts of life. The M encyclopedia. But she was worried about us growing older and not knowing God. So she introduced us and took us to church, and we got baptized and carried and repent of your sins and all that old good stuff. But when they tell me about this God, I didn't know what to do with this keepsake friend that I had. I said, what am I supposed to do with this God that I know? Not my friend. I wasn't even calling it God. What am I supposed to do with that? But as time went by, I managed to spend equal amount of time with both the friend in my heart, the Mary, the real Mary, and then this Christian God, Jesus and Jehovah. So I I kind of left my friend alone and tried to learn more about this Christian God. But I always felt that this God didn't like us because we were not Gentile. We were Gentiles and we were not Jews. And I read all the things about what God had told his people to do and kill all the people and kill the babies and bash their heads up against the wall and they were unclean and they were just killing people. And I said, well, God, this God don't even like me. What? And I would be wishing, I said, well, maybe if I was a Jew, God would like me more. So all of this stuff is going in my head because you remember, I'm a one that asks questions. I ask questions all day, but I didn't go to the church and ask those kind of questions. I asked this God and my friend about this. And as I got older, then after my mother died, I said, I don't know about this God. I don't understand it. I really don't. So as I, get married, blah, 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 and you find out the man, he ain't real. He just playing games and cheating on you. I said, it ain't working. But I still held this God to my heart, my friend, my friend. But I still held a lot of things against Jehovah. I did because I didn't understand it and wasn't getting no answers. And that's not the reason why I left the church though. I left the church because I saw some things after my mother died. I'm sweating. I saw some things in the church after she died that I was not supposed to see. I don't even know why they showed this to me. So I had to go. I just and it really hurt me, disappointed me. And I think about it now. What about people who are just loyal to Christianity? And then if I tell my story of how I felt about this Jehovah God and it mess up their mind like what I saw in the church, I don't want to be a stumbling block to people, but because a lot of people will stumble when they wake up and find that this God they've been worshiping is some man-made idol. That's what it is. They made this up, gave this God a personality, and this God evolved just like man had evolved. The God in the Old Testament, he was mean and mess up, and he gonna destroy everybody. And then he said, uh, I repented that I destroyed man. This God was going through a whole lot of stuff, and then you get to the New Testament, and it seemed like this Jehovah, he had a baby and, had sex or whatever he did. And then he got toned down. Maybe he was going through puberty. I don't know what this God in the Bible and Old Testament was doing, but he was going through some changes. And I think it had something to do with the evolution of man because man was going through some changes. But the God in the New Testament, you don't even hear about him killing nobody and destroying people. And it was just like a whole different story. So I don't know, but I just don't want nobody to stumble over what I'm telling them, but I'm just explaining for those who really care. Some people say I never did know God. I was never saved because if you were really saved, you wouldn't even ask God these questions and blah blah blah. But that was the type of person I was, asking a lot of questions. And Queen, I'm so glad you sticking in here with me and other two people that are here. But I'm going to talk about this at least once a week, maybe twice a week, and my evolution with spirituality and all of that, because I've studied a lot of different religions and not too many religions I haven't studied. And it's not like I know everything, which I don't, but I know my heart and how I ask questions and how I'm curious. And I feel different. I don't know. Everybody don't feel the same thing because I can touch something. I just get energy from stuff I touch. If I touch fabric, oh man, I just go crazy, and I don't know. Everybody's different, so I'm real sensitive, and I was born like that. So, but I'm trying to explain some things, and I'm going to put some more information on my podcast I did on Anchor, and I'm going to start talking more on that. Oh, I took some sinus medicine and it's draining, but I'm going to start talking more on my podcast and talking about the evolution of God and this God that we have, uh, Jehovah. And I'm not saying Jehovah is not real, because there's so many things in the Bible that resonate with me, and then there's more things that don't resonate than things that do. But all of these gods, people talk about the return of the gods, and people are so sure that the gods are coming back. And some people actually think that the nefarious beings have went and got the DNA of these gods and resurrected them. That's so silly. If they could do that, why don't you go get somebody worthwhile resurrecting? Because cloning and stuff like that. I don't know. People don't even understand what cloning is. But I don't want people to think that I know everything. Yeah, people are crazy, Queen. They are. And just because a person have a lot of people following them, some people think they are really giving a message out, but it's just showing you how crazy people are because they think like you. You're crazy, and these people are following you. And sometimes I imagine people that do these videos, if they look back and read some of the comments, they'll say, "Wow, these people are really crazy." They are crazy. And when you get into conspiracy thing, it's just no end to what people would think. 'Cause some people think zombies are real and demons are real. Now I've seen some crazy people, and I'm not saying there's no such thing as demons. There is, because I've seen some weird things in my life, and I can't explain them, and I don't want to explain them, and I just, you can close your eyes and say it ain't real, but it things really did happen. But I'm not trying to make people give up their God. I'm just explaining how I feel about Christianity, and um, I'm not saying it's just like any other religion, but when the push comes to shove, it really is. It really is, because people make up them a god, and that's the way they explain it. Bless you. That's the way they explain the world. You make up stuff because you don't explain, you don't know, so you ad lib and tell the story on down years and years, and before you know it, everybody believe that's the truth, and it just didn't happen like that. So I've been talking for 25 minutes, and tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, I'm gonna add to this. Was that Sunny? Yeah, she's sneezing. We both got the whatever stuff, sinusitis or something. She sneezes all night. I give her Benadryl too. We both take Benadryl, but I give her one Benadryl and I'll take two. But Queen, I'm so glad to see you, and I sometimes I can get on your click on your videos, but y'all way out there. I don't even know what y'all be talking about. But I do give a thumbs up. At least I can do that, a thumbs up. Cause man, you be going in them and I be scared. Y'all, you don't be playing with these people. Mm-mm. No, I back off. To say when you get finished, can you give me a call? I sure will. I'm not gonna be on here long because you make me smile. You really do. Cause I mean, you don't step on their necks. Be handling these old silly men. I be watching some of those videos. There was one guy, he was trying to talk to say something crazy to you, and girl, you put him in back in place so quick. I said, ooh, I was shaking for the man. I said, oh God, I'm glad he ain't in her face because she been knocked him through the wall. I don't know why men want to do that, bother women. I guess they don't know you, do they? That one on the other channel are more calm. Oh, okay. Because some of them, ooh, they be making me nervous. I say, oh, what are they? Cause I don't like to see my queen mad. Don't make her mad. Mm-mm. I be and sometimes the kids. I be say, y'all better behave. Cause queen don't play that. Mm-mm. I have to act right too. Anyway, I'm so glad y'all came out and saw me. And like I say, I'm gonna work on my podcast. But what I'm gonna do is do me a little itinerary so I remember what I'm talking about, where I don't have to repeat myself so much. But anyway, I'm gonna say good night, Queen. I'm gonna call you about in about 15 minutes. No, 10 minutes, okay? Thanks for coming by. Bye bye, guys. It says Ian. Okay, yes, Ian. This is neat.